Hi, this is Jas Obrecht, and welcome to part two of my interview with 20-year-old Yngwie Malmsteen. If you haven't already heard it, you might want to first listen to tape one, which is also available on YouTube. Our 90-minute interview took place on January 3rd, 1984. At the time, Yngwie had just completed his first round of shows with Alcatrazz, a band he'd formed with singer Graham Bonnet. This next part takes up where the first part ended.
Do you think there's an inherent mood in the different modes and keys?
What's that?
Do you think that do different modes or keys
Yes?
suggest moods to you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so.
Could you describe any of them?
As everybody knows, major things sounds happy,
Uh-huh.
and, minor thing sounds a little bit sad. And, for instance, Phrygian sounds like Oriental,
Uh-huh.
and, diminished sometimes sounds like, mystical or something, It depends in what way you play it,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that, there's a lot of things. Music is always, moves you in some kind of way. And if you really want to analyze it, you can always find out why. I don't, really know why, but I think that's one of the parts, like, for instance, major sounds happy and so forth,
Mm-hmm. Is there a difference in your live and your studio playing?
It's basically the same, I try to not to be too studio-oriented in the studio,
Do you like the studio?
Yeah, I like the studio because you can do a lot of harmonies and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which I like. And it's just interesting to work in the studio because, I feel very comfortable in the studio. I don't feel like, I'm afraid of, the taping and anything. A lot of people feel limited when there's a tape going,
Yeah.
you know.
Did you surprise yourself at all in the studio during the Alcatrazz album?
What do you mean, like?
Like some guys, like I remember Jeff Beck telling me this, that sometime he would be in the studio playing, and when he heard the tape back, he didn't remember playing something, and he couldn't believe what he had played, and he wondered if he could ever do it again.
Yeah, actually, that happens. That happens every now and then. Yeah, it does. Yeah. You see, I'm recording almost every day on my 4-track machines.
On tour or at home?
Yeah, on tour and at home too.
And then you listen to them?
Yeah, so I'm always kind of, I'm using the tape like as a mirror for my music and my development.
Ah.
And, I've always done that. As soon as I started playing, I started recording.
Uh-huh.
And, it happens every now and then. I do something that I have to learn. Even though I did it, I had to learn it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's probably the same thing.
Do you think does your playing improve because of that, do you think?
I think very much so, yes. I think you'd be very critical and very disciplined, which I am.
Yeah.
And also listen very, you criticize yourself very hard, okay? And you listen to it instead of just play it and hear it at the same time. If you listen to it like you would listen to anybody else, you can, improve yourself a lot better, I think.
So would you say you're very self-critical?
More than anything else, yeah.
Do you, how many times a day will you pick up a guitar and play?
It depends where I am, If I'm around the house, probably pick it up and sit with it sometimes 2 minutes, sometimes 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
It's always different, And sometimes I'm really lazy,
Yeah.
but most of the time I play,
When do you play your best?
That's a hard question because it's always different. Sometimes I play really good live. If I'm, I can probably, play better than anywhere else when I'm on the stage. but also I can play worse than anywhere else when I'm on a stage.
Do you ever lose your confidence if you make a mistake or something?
No.
No? Will you take chances on stage and do things you've never done before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the challenge, you know?
Uh-huh.
That's the challenge of the whole thing.
What do you think your most unusual techniques are?
I don't know. I just think maybe what I'm doing that I haven't heard anybody else do is that I'm playing more radical in a more limited musical situation. Do you know what I mean? Some of the parts, some of the things I'm doing could maybe be compared to some jazz players. Although what I'm playing it with is very basic and very simple. How should I explain?
Could you give an example off the album or something?
Well, basically that's the way I play all the time. All the time. It's my solos tend sometimes to get a little bit crazy. You know, but the music is always very basic. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's not like, for instance, Al Di Meola, you know, where sometimes, even though he's playing very advanced, very fast stuff, the music overshadows what he's trying to do, because the music is in itself so complex that what he's trying to put out doesn't, you know, freak people out as much as it could have been doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd like to ask you some questions about some specific cuts on the album.
Okay.
What's going on in Incubus? Did you layer some guitars in there?
Yeah, that's one of the things I really don't like about the production. Because the way I'm doing things is, most of the time I play the root, and I dub the root, and I play the octave to the root, and then I play the thirds and the fifths, okay? And I think the way I layer my harmonies, they have to be mixed in a certain way. Not only level-wise, also pan-wise.
Pan? Oh, yeah.
And this, our specific producer, did not comprehend whatever. He didn't understand that. He just mixed it the way he thought it was going to be, and it really made the whole thing sound funny.
Is that the part that kind of sounds like Brian May from Queen? With all the guitars at once? That you're speaking of?
Yeah, I'm talking about Incubus.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one should have been a lot better. It could have been a lot better, because if it was produced right, if it was produced the same way it was written, it would have sounded a lot better. And I'm kind of disappointed on that particular part.
Uh-huh.
But I laid a lot of guitars on that.
How many, the song General Hospital?
Yes?
Did you overdub the solos in that?
Overdub, what do you mean?
The solos in,
There's only one solo in that, I think.
was that a first take type solo?
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Could you describe how you layer guitars, like in the song Jet to Jet? Do you just keep recording the different... How's that done?
Where is that?
I guess it's the same as in Incubus, huh? There's a couple of parts where there's a lot of guitars at once, making a real thick sound.
Oh, wait a minute. You sure that's Jet to Jet?
Maybe my notes are wrong.
But what kind of song is it? What does it sound like? Is it a fast number?
The song Jet to Jet?
Yeah.
Off the album?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Because that the one that's called Jet to Jet is very fast. It's like da da ba 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 da 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 da, something like that. And it has like kind of a arpeggio thing in the middle.
Yeah, right.
Like it's a two guitar part thing.
That's two guitars?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. What's important to keep in mind when you're double tracking that stuff?
Well, it's hard to do it really tight. If you don't do it really tight, it's going to end up sounding like shit.
Yeah.
But if you really work on it, that I redid maybe like 4 or 5 times, you know.
Uh-huh.
Just see, it's so weird, because when we recorded it, the band was following my guitar, okay?
They were what, following your guitar?
Yeah, in the time, you know, because they drop out and then drop in, you know, like do like shots on top of my guitar arpeggio.
Uh-huh.
And so when I was gonna redo that again, you know, totally redo it. I didn't have anything to go from. Because the band was following me, and well, there's no guitar there, and I had to redo it. There's nothing to follow.
Oh, boy.
So that's why I had to work on that for about 4 or 5 times to get it a bit tight.
How did you get the crunchy rhythms on Hiroshima Mon Amour? Did you have any device? I guess you didn't use any effects, but did you record that particularly loudly, the rhythm part?
No, I always play the same volume. 10.
10?
10.
Oh, pan from side to side?
No, 10.
Spell 10?
P-E-N.
What's that mean?
Full.
Oh, I never heard that expression.
10? 10, 10 on the volume knob.
Oh, number 10.
Yeah.
I thought you said pen with a P.
No.
Oh.
No, I'll always play full volume. It's never different volume,
What about same with the amp?
Yeah, that's what I mean, that.
What about the guitar?
That's always 10 too.
So you're always cranked all the way up.
Yeah.
What about, say on your Marshall heads, what will you have the rest of the dial set at?
I have the presence full, the middle full, the treble full, and the bass on the 0. No bass.
Uh-huh. Do you have a master volume?
No. They're all stock heads, stock Marshall heads.
There's a real interesting change of beat in the solo for is it Kree Nakuri? How do you pronounce that?
Krina Kori.
Kree Nakuri.
Yeah.
That's a real good change right before the solo comes in. Was that a first take solo?
Is it a beat? What do you mean, the change in the beat?
The beat itself of the song changes when the solo comes in. It seems.
I don't think that's Krina Kori. I think that's General Hospital.
Huh. What scales are you using in Kree Nakuri?
In Krina Kori is Phrygian.
Phrygian?
Yeah.
And do you have a bunch of different wang bar effects in there?
Yeah, it's just a tremolo bar.
Oh, I see. Did you double track a passage in Starcane Lane with the vibrato bar? In the very intro, you're playing something and then the bar goes down, it sounds like. But it sounds like there are 2 guitars doing it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think, that's double. There's 2 guitars, I think.
Uh-huh.
But it's not the vibrato bar, though.
What was that?
That's just the bending.
Oh, you bent that?
Yeah. I bend one note, and bend one note, and I go back to the normal note, and then I drop down to the bottom note, slide down the string.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Huh, it almost sounded like a wang bar to me.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't heard the album myself for a long time. So.
Oh, yeah. Now, in the song Suffer Me,
Yes?
were you playing volume swells?
Yes.
Okay.
The volume knob.
How'd you get the solo tone? Was that the same as always? Everything on 10?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a time change in Bigfoot. Maybe that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
Yeah. What are your views on using the vibrato bar? Do you see it as an effect?
I see it as a possible effect. You can do stuff with it, right? That sounds really outrageous. But I use it most of the time as to do stuff you can't do without it, but do it with, play with it. Sometimes I hold one note down, but I play 4 notes with the bar, I change the pitch with the bar to play the notes.
So will you get 1 note out of the 4 notes? I mean, they'll take 4 notes from 1 note?
Yeah, from 1 fret, I hold 1 fret down, but I do the 4 notes. It sounds like a slide or something.
Uh-huh.
And I always set my vibratos up floating, so I can make it higher too. I can
pull it up?
Pull it, yeah.
Do you have a standard vibrato setup on your Strat?
Yeah, stock.
Do you ever have trouble with it going out of tune?
No, I don't. Actually, it happens every now and then. If for instance, we were playing the East Coast. We were playing when I came off the tour now, and my guitars really went nuts for a while. But if you work them right, yeah, there shouldn't be any problems.
Huh. Do you ever try a Floyd Rose device?
Yeah, I got one guitar with Floyd Rose, and I just think it's a hassle to have it. I don't think it's it doesn't keep in tune better. Because the only thing I have trouble with is that strings are stretching.
Yeah.
You know, and then doesn't matter if you have a clamp or not because the strings are still stretching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I just use my stock ones.
Do you change the strings every night?
Oh yes. Oh, yes.
Some guys boil them. That's what Van Halen does. He boils them and.
Yeah. You know, I don't think it's worth it though. You know, I don't have any problems with my stock ones. So I don't see any reason to reclamp and do all that kinds of stuff.
Do you have an easy touch?
With what?
The vibrato bar?
No, I wouldn't say so. I would say that I'm very violent with it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Do you first imagine a tone and then try to get it out of the instrument, or does the instrument bring you the tones?
It's kind of a middle way.
Middle way?
Yeah.
Sometimes either one. How do you hold a pick?
I hold it with my forefinger and my thumb.
Do you pick with the pointy end?
Yeah.
Do you favor a certain type of gauge?
Yeah, the extra heavy ones, like 125 or something.
Oh, I see.
The ones that do not bend.
Uh-huh. Would you describe your picking pattern for your right hand?
Yeah. It's, I would say 95 out of 100 times it's up, down.
Up, down, up, down?
Up, down.
Uh-huh.
Very occasionally, few times, but sometimes I go only down. You know?
Just the downstroke?
Yeah.
Do you ever use your other fingers in conjunction with the pick? Like your middle or your ring or your little finger?
No,
right?
no. I play with my right hand on the neck, you know, sometimes.
What do you mean?
Like, I play with my right hand on the neck as well as with my left hand.
You mean tapping notes?
Yeah. But that's another thing that has nothing to do with the picking, really.
I noticed you have an overhand technique where you use all 10 fingers on the neck. But it seemed like it was more for flash than...
Oh, yeah. That's just show thing, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I actually play like that, but most of the time when I do it live, it's just that, most of the kids don't know the difference anyway. You know what I mean?
Do you actually play with your teeth, or is that...
Oh, yeah.
show
Oh, yeah.
too?
Oh, yeah.
You use your front tooth?
Yeah.
You ever break one or anything like that?
No. I don't... A lot of people ask me that. A lot of people ask me how I can do it. It's not that hard.
You know Randy Hansen?
Yeah?
He had a special tooth made for his mouth that he could pick with.
Really?
Yeah. Some guy punched him in the face one night and knocked his tooth out. And he went to a dentist and he said, look, I want a tooth that'll be real hard and I can play guitar with it. And the guy made him a special extra strong porcelain cap for his tooth. And that's what he plays with.
That's funny.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Have you ever hurt a guitar by throwing it up in the air and not catching it?
It happened once. I've been doing that for quite a few years, so, I've never dropped them,
Will the audience's energy have much of an influence on you?
Oh, yeah.
The things you do?
Oh, yeah. Most of the time I play just as well, but if, normally I go kind of nuts on stage, but if the audience are really happening, I go totally nuts.
Like what will you do?
Well, I can do crazy things. I should, all kinds of stuff.
Will you go out into the crowd?
Into the crowd?
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
Yeah. It's funny. I went to an AC/DC concert a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and I'm going to do that, yeah.
He goes right out. It's amazing. He's never been crushed, or...
Yeah. But he's got a cordless unit, too.
Yeah. You don't use one of those?
No, I like to whip the guitar with a cord.
Uh-huh. I noticed in the concert I saw that when you did your solo that was kind of like the solo on Barney's album.
Some similarities, yeah.
You had that wind sound, and then the build-up at the end where it keeps getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
What's that? How does that happen?
I'm overdriving an old flanger I got.
Oh, and you overdrive it at the end, you turn it up?
Yeah.
Ah, I see. You also played an effect that was kind of like a violin With your guitar, I think you were working the knobs. Do you know what I'm speaking of?
Yeah, that's just the volume knob.
Oh, I see.
That's just the volume knob. It's no effect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It sounded like some of your solos in concert were fairly close to the album.
Yes, actually, sometimes I'll play some of the parts. I never used to do that. Now I do. Some of the parts from the album, which were improvised on the album, I later on really thought I liked a lot, you know. I liked them so much that I thought, well, I should play that, you know. But it's just a certain part here and there. It's not the whole solo.
Uh-huh.
You know. That would be too boring, I think.
What were the titles of the Rainbow and Shaker tunes you guys were doing on tour?
We do Lost in Hollywood and Since You've Been Gone.
Uh-huh.
And Desert Song.
Desert Song?
Yeah. Sometimes we do All Night Long.
What's that?
All Night Long we do sometimes too.
Now, do those tunes basically follow the originals?
Yeah, mostly, yes. I don't play the kind of solos they do though.
Yeah.
I don't want to play like them. But some of them, I rearranged a couple of them a bit, you know, because especially Desert Song tends to be a little bit long.
Laborious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever play slide?
I know how to play slide, you know, but I always felt that was kind of limiting, you know.
Do you ever play with open tunings?
I've experimented a lot with that. Not the way normal people do it.
Uh-huh.
I've done some kind of really strange shit. I used to take the B string and put it in the E string slot and tune the two strings same pitch, like a 12-string type of thing.
Yeah.
Then I tuned the G string as a fifth to those two.
Those two Bs?
Yeah. And then the D string, one octave lower than the two B and E, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the A string a fifth again, and then the E string was a bass string. I put a G or a D bass string on, really, really low.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So what I did was I hit the strings, which were a chord, and I played the line with the double string.
Oh, that must have sounded cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. I never heard anybody do that before. I recorded some stuff with Rising Force like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Will that stuff ever hit the public, do you think?
It has already done, man.
Well, they're in bootleg tapes now, right?
Yeah.
But,
my mother called me up the other night and said that she got like 2,000 fan letters.
no kidding.
Yeah. And from all over the world. It's like from Indonesia and Czechoslovakia, which is like, you know, communist country, you know.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
How's that make you feel?
Very, well, it's flattering, of course, but also at the same time, it's very confusing. It's like, how come this happens now? Why didn't this happen when I was in Sweden and really worked on it? I'm not working on Rising Force anymore, so, you know. But now, when I'm not working on it anymore, now people really go nuts over it, you know.
Tom, there is one thing I wanted to ask you about. In the press material that your company sent me,
Yeah?
they made a reference that people like Van Halen and Blackmore were the journeymen, and that you were going to more or less blast them off the stage. Now I know that didn't come from you, but
That's kind of funny, really.
does it bother you? Because
You know, there's one thing that really bothers me more than anything else.
what's that?
That's that everybody keep on comparing me to other guitar players.
Uh-huh.
And that is, to me, just very annoying. Because I even actually intentionally try to avoid to sound like somebody else. But, you know, it doesn't matter, because most people don't understand. All they know that is that Graham Bond used to be with Richie Blackmore and Michael Schenker, and of course they compare me to those two. They also compare me to Ed Van Halen a whole lot, and to Randy Rhoads, and
Ulrich Roth.
yeah, and everybody.
Uh-huh.
And which I understand why, but still it annoys me, because it doesn't matter what I tell them, because they don't believe me. They think I've stolen everything I'm doing.
Yngwie, a lot of people don't have the ears to distinguish the differences.
No, I know that.
If you put most people, if you played a Michael Schenker, they'd think it was Hendrix, the average guy, you know, who doesn't listen to heavy metal.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know.
But
I try to accept the way it is, but it's kind of frustrating.
does the fact that people are now recognizing you more make you feel like you have to take your art a lot further?
It is the same way as, for instance, a lot of gigs I do and a lot of fan letters and stuff. They keep on saying that I think I'm so good and I'm the best and all that stuff. That doesn't make me feel like, okay, now I'm good. I don't have to practice or whatever. Practice said I didn't practice, but whatever. Now I don't have to work on or try to improve myself anymore. See, that's one thing I never do. I never let anyone else tell me, what to do.
Yeah.
If somebody says that, whatever your question was, that they could hear who I was, that I was going to try to improve myself, it wouldn't really change my, way of working. I always try to improve. Doesn't matter if they say they know the way I sound, if they say I'm bad or if I'm good.
Uh-huh.
I always try to criticize myself very hard and try to improve,
What do you want to accomplish?
I want to impress myself. Sounds hard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not only that, though. I mean, it's that one of the things, just to keep on playing, to be creative,
Uh-huh.
But also, I want to have, every now and then I want to feel like, okay, now I did something good,
Yeah.
because I'm very critical. So every now and then I have to do something with my guitar that even makes me think, oh, that's okay,
Uh-huh. Do you feel there's a lot of competition among heavy metal players?
I think there's a lot of good guitar players, but I don't really feel like I don't feel like, oh, he's better than me, and I don't feel like that. We're all musicians.
Yeah.
So it's not a sport.
Have you met any of the other major players?
I've met Alan Holsworth.
Uh-huh.
And I spoke to Al Mule on the phone. I spoke to Uli Roth on the phone. I never met Eddie or anybody.
Well, I'm sure that'll all change in the next year or so. But, are you a guitar collector?
Not really. I just, the guitars I have, I play.
How many do you have?
I got 6 Stratocasters.
Are any of them old?
Yeah, not really, like 68, But very soon I'm gonna buy a 63.
What are your favorite ones?
My very favorite Strat is a cream-colored maple neck I've had for years and years. It's I think it's a 69.
Cream-colored?
Cream.
Uh-huh. What do you look for in a guitar?
Well, as long as it's a Stratocaster, And actually, I didn't tell you, I do some stuff to my guitars. It's I carve the neck out in between the frets, like scallop.
Like John McLaughlin?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not flat anymore. It's like it curved downward?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's basically because well, everybody knows that higher frets gives you more control, right? You don't feel like you're slipping around and don't know what you're doing. And it's basically the same effect. It's having very high frets, Same thing. If you carve out the wood or if you hire the metal, it doesn't really matter. So,
Doesn't that change the pitch of the note, though?
no, well, actually, some people who play my guitars, the way they play them, it sounds really weird, but,
When you fret a note now, does your finger go all the way to the wood?
No, it never touches the wood. So that's the thing, I don't want the finger to touch the wood.
So your finger only presses the string into the air above the wood?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's part of the reason why you're faster. Do you think that contributes?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say so because I haven't done this for, all the time.
Yeah.
Most of the rising force material is just as fast as what I'm doing now, and I didn't used to do that then.
So do you just take the strings off the neck and sand it?
Well, it's like I do it with a file,
Uh-huh.
And then I, of course, sand it. And if it's maple neck, sometimes I put the finish back on. If it's a rosewood neck, I just put some oil on,
What kind of oil?
Lemon oil or something, just to restore the wood.
Is the wiring the same in the pickups?
No, I always disconnect the middle pickup and the two tone controls.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I never use that.
So the only knob on your guitar that works is the volume?
Yeah.
Well, that makes it easy.
Yeah, because when I, as I said, when I play my solos, I use both pickups quite a lot back and forth. And while I'm switching, the tone knob tends to go slightly backwards all the time. So by the time I can reach the top pickup again doing the solo, there's no, the tone control is on the zero. And then, you lose the output at the same time you lose the treble.
Uh-huh.
So I just, cut the wires in there.
How do you warm up before going on stage?
Basically just tuning, I just like break the strings in, basically.
Give them a tug?
Yeah.
Now, when you hit the stage, what do you have in front of you as far as equipment and spare guitars and stuff? Do you have any effects on the ground? I couldn't see in the club we were in.
Yeah, I'm using Taurus bass pedals.
Now, what are those for?
Well, if you heard, for instance, my guitar solo, I used them quite a lot. I used them for a couple of intros,
I'm not real familiar with those.
They're like a keyboard kind of thing, but you play with your feet.
Does it run through your setup?
No, it's through the PA.
Oh, I see.
I wouldn't play them through Marshall because then it would distort,
Yeah, sure. All right, do you have your effects devices on stage, the flanger?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I got a Vox flanger
Yeah.
and a Crybaby wah-wah, which I never use, and Boss octave divider, and I think I got an MXR 100.
MXR what?
MXR 100.
What's that?
It's a phase.
Oh, Phase 100,
Yeah.
sure.
And yeah, well, it's kind of basic.
Are these in a pedal board?
Yeah.
So you don't tend to use them too much, though, do you?
No, I think it's I just want to feel like if I want to screw around with them, I could, but it's not very often I use them.
Do you ever do things on stage that you've never tried before? Will you take radical chances?
Oh yeah, I do that all the time. See, whenever I play, I try to do something. As I said before, I want to impress myself. I want to do something, and I go, "Wow, how could I do that?" And it doesn't matter if I'm on stage or in the studio or in my house, or I always work on trying to do something different.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm doing all the time, like in every song and every solo, but every now and then,
Uh-huh.
try something totally different.
What's your reach on the fingerboard if you have your index finger like at the 7th fret? Do you have a wide hand? Could you go up to the 12th or 13th fret?
What's the index finger?
The
Is that
first,
the first one?
if your first finger is on like the 7th fret, how far up can your little finger go?
I don't know. I'll find out if you want to.
Yeah.
Hang on. From the 7th fret.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can go to the 15th.
With your index finger still on the 7th?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
So from the 5th, I can go to the 12th.
Okay. I noticed one of your strats that you used at the end of the show was an upside down one.
It's a lefty, yeah.
Yeah, what's the appeal of that, besides the fact that Jimmy used one?
I just liked the thing, I thought it was really cool.
It looks great.
Yeah.
But,
I think it looks cool when it's upside down.
does it have any advantages?
No, rather the opposite, really. You can't reach the very high frets, so that's why I'll use it on one song.
Uh-huh.
And also the tremolo and the volume and the switch and everything is like upside down. But sometimes I don't really care because it's such a cool thing.
Uh-huh.
I play the rest of the show with the guitars I can do everything with. That guitar I can't do everything with. I can do, most of it.
How many spares do you have nearby in case you go out of tune or break it straight? Do you always keep one or two spares?
Spares or what?
Guitars?
Oh, well, I got 6 Fender Stratocasters.
Yeah, but when you go on stage,
Yes?
how many guitars do you have? ready to play?
All of them.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Do you have a guitar roadie?
Oh yeah. He's got a hard work.
I imagine.
You know, I'm really demanding. You know, I need my guitars to be switched. The strings had to be switched every night. 6 strings. 6 guitars had to be like broken in. You know, graphite in the nut. You know, the whole bit.
Even if they weren't played?
Oh yeah.
What about, oh, you do put graphite in the neck then?
In the nut, yeah.
In the string slots?
Yeah.
Huh, that's real interesting. I noticed your roadie was sure busy.
Yeah. He's got his stuff to occupy his time with.
Do you use a specially gauged set of strings?
Yeah, it begins with 8 and ends with 46.
What kind are they?
D'Angelico.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty rare.
But they're custom made though. They're not the ones you buy in the store.
You ordered them from D'Angelico?
Yeah, I get them for free.
Is your G strings, what, a 21 or something?
The G?
Yeah.
No, the G is a 14.
The D is what?
24.
Oh, I see. Let's see, what are your immediate future plans?
Me or the band or?
You.
Well, I just, you know, keep on playing with the band, you know?
Uh-huh.
Go to Japan in 20 days.
You think you'll stay with Alcatrazz for a while?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It feels really good now. You know, it's getting better. We've only done like, something like 15 shows.
Uh-huh.
But, we working on it, you know, we've been touring, you know, and we're gonna go on tour again in 10 days.
Is there any advice you'd give young heavy metal kids that want to become lead guitar players?
Yeah, I could say like this, I could say that they shouldn't be too, possessed with what everybody else is doing. They should just do what they feel, you know, they shouldn't like, okay, Edwin Halen is using this and he's doing that, you know, they should try to find out themselves what they actually are trying to do. So, because otherwise you just turn out, you just end up like somebody else, you know, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You should always try to reach a point where you know what you're doing and don't care what everybody else is doing, you know. It's hard, but I think that's the right way, though.
Uh-huh. Well, is there anything else you'd like to cover? Or questions you always wanted someone to ask you?
I don't know. I think that's about it, really.
Okay. Now, do you want to be put on the comp list for guitar player?
What's that?
Do you want me to put you on the list so you'll get guitar player every month for the rest of your life for free?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This concludes the second half of my 1984 interview with Yngwie Malmsteen. First part is available on YouTube as well, so if you haven't heard it, click on over and check it out. And if you like what you hear and would like to help support the Talking Guitar Project, send some cheer our way by clicking on that donate button. I'd like to thank Nick Hunt for producing this podcast, which is copyright 2023 by Jas Obrecht, all rights reserved. Thank you for listening.